Hello, guys! Turbocharged 51 over here! I hope you're having a splendid day wherever you are in the world, and welcome to my 2025 Japanese Grand Prix review. Now, first of all, I understand it's a bit late. Sorry for the late posting, guys. I had a week from hell the last week and a half. So I do apologize for that. You guys are going to hear me say sorry for a lot of things, but I would like to do a review of every single Grand Prix this year. So yeah, I'm gonna try my best, especially if I can't attend the podcast, then I will at least want my own video because sometimes I will not be able to attend. But yes, let's talk about the most exciting race of the season. No, it was not. It was one of the most boring races of the season. Let's talk about the Japanese Grand Prix. All right, so where did Verstappen come from? Okay, I get it's become like a norm in F1. Everybody knows Verstappen is always going to be there. But, brah, the quali lap that Max pulled out of his high knee and to actually keep those two McLarens behind him? Insane. Absolutely insane. Look, I am the first to say that, and it's not just Max that I feel this way about, but I'm the first to say that I do not like Max Verstappen. But if you are a real and not just real sounds like such a freaking not descriptive enough word. If you are a real sporting or motorsport enthusiast, especially sporting, even if you don't like someone or you don't like a team, when they do well, you can still respect them. That doesn't mean you have to like them. And I'm that way about Max. I really, really don't like Max, but I respect him so much, and nobody can deny that young man has got more talent in his pinky toe than 90% of the population. That's just how good Max Verstappen is when it comes to driving racing vehicles. It's insane. And while we are on the Red Bull topic, and while I'm giving Max his flowers, I actually want to talk about Yuki Tsunoda because a lot of people saw the Japanese Grand Prix as Yuki bottling it. And I don't agree. We saw very much that this whole resurfacing of the track made it nearly impossible for drivers to overtake. And yeah, Yuki couldn't overtake. He still made it to Q2, which was something that Lawson couldn't do yet while he was in the car for the two races he was there. But besides that, Yuki was one of the only people in that Grand Prix to actually make moves and make them stick. He didn't score points. I get it. It could have been a lot better. But for his first weekend in the toughest car on the entire grid to drive, that's all I have to say. Well done to Yuki. And this paints a beautiful picture for what we have coming up in Bahrain. It's a track where Yuki has always been strong. It's a track where Racing Bulls, aka AlphaTauri, aka Toro Rosso, for many, many years, it's been a track where they've really gone well at. And I honestly think points are definitely a conversation to be had when it comes to Yuki Tsunoda. He's doing exceptional work. You can see he's putting in the time, and he's so calm about this. It's as if that highly aggro, always wants to swear and go crazy Yuki, it's as if he's gone since he's been signed to Red Bull. Don't know what the difference is between Racing Bulls and Red Bull, but poof, clearly it's working for Yuki Tsunoda. So I'm really, really impressed with Yuki. And I think people need to look at this from a different perspective than just, Yuki did exactly what Lawson would have done. He did, in my honest opinion, better than what Lawson would have done. It is what it is. But yeah, I'm very excited. Now, let's talk about, I actually want to talk about the team that everybody's talking about last. Let's talk about Ferrari. First of all, well damn done, Charles Leclerc. Now, again, it was clear that this race was between Verstappen and the McLarens, which is the topic that I will talk about at the end, mainly the McLarens. But it was very, very close between Ferrari and Mercedes. But I do think the Mercedes was the quicker car throughout the Japanese Grand Prix weekend. And the reason I say that is they were quicker in practice. They had more consistent pace. then both Charles and Lewis going into the race, and I'm including qualifying and the actual practice sessions themselves. The Mercs just looked like a better car, and yet Charles managed to keep both of the Mercs behind him and finish a solid P4. Now Lewis, on the other hand, didn't do as well. But I'm going to state something here about Lewis quickly that I think people are grasping at straws when it comes to Lewis Hamilton. Every second day you hear some knobhead say, "No, Lewis, his peak is done. Lewis is not the same that he was anymore. He's not as fast. He is old now." And then there's other people saying, "No, he will never get used to the Ferrari." There's so many things going on social media about Lewis Hamilton, and we are very quickly to do this about Max Verstappen, but I'm going to do it for Hamilton as well. And listen very damn closely. It's still Sir Lewis Hamilton, 7-time World Drivers' Champion. 7-time. The only other driver to equal the amazing Michael Schumacher. Let's do that, actually. I'm going to sit this way because it's nice to have it's nice to have Shumi in the shot. In any case, the only other 7-time World Drivers Formula One champion. And people say Alonso, and it's very clear, hasn't lost a step. Okay? Fernando Alonso, 2-time world champion. He's well into his 40s now. And you guys think Lewis can't do that? And I'm not referencing everybody. I'm referencing specifically the Lewis haters and the pessimists. The sporting and Formula One pessimists. Those are the ones that I'm targeting with this part of the video. Because we're talking about Lewis bloody Hamilton, guys. And take this into perspective, okay? Lewis's whole career has been Mercedes powered. And I can see the comments. No, but he started off with McLaren. What engines and gearboxes did the McLaren use? McLaren Mercedes was their name. Lewis has been used to nothing but Mercedes power his entire Formula One career. That actually hurt. I shouldn't have beaten myself with my fist. You live and you learn, and there's no pills for stupidity. Damn it. Why has this video gone so off topic? Point being, let's get back on track. You have to realize that this adaptation towards Ferrari is massive for Hamilton. New engine, completely different chassis. And there's so many things that's changing for Lewis besides the racing itself. It's a new team. It's a new environment. The man moved to Italy. Everything has changed for Lewis to make sure that he can end his career at the best team on the grid. And people that just think these F1 drivers are robots and they can jump from one car to another and just be on pace immediately. I honestly think not even Max Verstappen can do that. And I know all the Max fans are going, sinful nature you just showed. Ach man, futzak. Not even Max Verstappen can do that. Especially not considering Max has been used to nothing but Red Bull his entire career. Hasn't all been Red Bull, hasn't all been Honda powertrains, that I will admit. He's had some Renault experience. I will admit that. But Max has been around Red Bull his entire career since he's gotten to F1. Lewis was Mercedes. You people can't expect, again, the Lewis haters and pessimists, you guys can't expect Lewis Hamilton to just come out of the blocks firing. Alonso, when he moved from McLaren to Ferrari, struggled. And everybody's going to say, but Alonso won his first race in Ferrari. Yes, due to other people having mechanical issues. Alonso wasn't the fastest throughout that whole weekend. Yes, it was a brilliant drive, but there was a bit of luck involved. And with all due respect, Lewis won his second race in the car. Yes, it was a sprint race. Race win is a race win. Lewis won his second race. If that is not enough proof that Lewis is still Lewis Hamilton, nothing will convince you guys. And then even more than that, I'm thinking about when Lewis moved from McLaren to Mercedes. That first year at Mercedes, when they were still running V8s, Lewis struggled. Because, again, team change, a lot of different personnel. There was a massive change. That year in the V8s, Rosberg outperformed Hamilton. You can say what you want, that's the facts. But come 2014, 1 year after, what happened? Second World Championship. 2015, third World Championship. 2016, lost out to Rosberg. 2017, fourth World Championship. 2018, fifth World Championship. 2019, sixth World Championship. 2020, seventh. It just takes a bit of time. But I'm not going to talk about this anymore. I was very impressed with my team this weekend, and slowly but surely they're getting to where they need to be. I don't know if I mentioned it on my personal videos, but I did mention it on the Break at the Apex podcast, which, guys, again, links on the description down below. Go give it some love. Go give us some support. I mentioned that Ferrari have got 5 races to figure out this completely new concept of theirs. Race number 3, starting to look upwards, starting to look better. We've got 2 more Grand Prix, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia. If Ferrari haven't figured out this concept, I would say to about 80%. Bahrain, the championship's over. Championship's over, we can write it on our stomachs. It's klar, Baba, klar. We can still get second, but we will not win it. If we don't figure something out by the time we get to Saudi Arabia, and we are not at least on par with McLaren, or at least, okay, let's say within 3/10. If we are not within 3/10 race pace, not quali pace, because we're already there in quali pace. If we are not within 2 to 3/10 of McLaren race pace wise, championship over. But we'll wait and see, because Bahrain and Saudi, after this boring race, I think, going back to more traditional ways, I think Bahrain and Saudi are going to be epic races. Absolutely epic. So yeah, in any case, now let's talk about McLaren. McLaren, if it was any other team against Verstappen, they would have won that Grand Prix. But for some other reason, McLaren can't seem to do that. I don't know if McLaren, or per se Lando, is scared of McLaren. Scared of Verstappen. I don't know if there's just some sort of massive miscommunication within that team. And again, I'm not here to judge. I'm just giving my personal opinion on what I saw. Nah, man. Any other team, especially if your car is that much faster than the Red Bull, would have won that Grand Prix. But McLaren don't. What happened to trying something different? Why couldn't Lando stay out a lap or 2 extra to try and overcut Max? Why didn't McLaren just pull the plug and box Lando early? Why didn't they try and undercut? They had Piastri as the rear gunner to put pressure on Max. But they just decided, nah, we'll do exactly what Max does. Lando, Oscar, go a lap later and make sure you stay behind Lando. Sorry, guys. My problem is McLaren were part of the reason why this race was so boring. Besides that, just try. And people can say as much as they want, no, McLaren are just banking on getting some good points for the start of the season. What happens when we get to round 9 and the active aero, well, not active aero, the flexi wings are gone, and McLaren are all of a sudden not the fastest car anymore? What do McLaren do then? Because it's easy to say, no, that's not going to happen, but the amount of it that will not happen and it can happen are the same percentage. You can't take these chances. Any other team with a car this fast, any one of the top teams, and I will actually include Alpine on this because they have World Championship winning history, just as Renault, but you guys get my point. Most of the other teams in McLaren's position with that fast of a car would have won that Grand Prix. Why couldn't McLaren? If we get to round 9 and these cars no longer have the flexible rear wing, the flexible wings, and McLaren have got a massive problem and their car's not as fast anymore, we know they are going to lose pace already. We just don't know how much. And we also don't know how much the other teams are going to gain on them. If McLaren don't absolutely get the most amount of points possible while they can, they are screwing themselves. And there's no other way to put it. They are screwing themselves. McLaren can't afford these mistakes from Bahrain onwards. They can't. Because it's going to cost them the championship. And that is my 2 cents on the very boring 2025 Japanese Grand Prix. I don't have much more to say because nothing else happened. I want to give a round of applause to Isaac Hadjar, who raced very well against his hero, Lewis Hamilton. Lewis did get him at the end of the day. It was one of the only overtakes that happened. It is the only overtake that happened in the top 10. And Isaac Hadjar looked amazing this weekend. And in retrospect, talking about Hadjar, Liam Lawson, brada, you're going to have to figure something out very quickly. I'm sorry to be that guy, but if you're going to drive like this, Tata F1 seat, not just a Red Bull seat, Tata F1 seat. Guys, I don't know what's happened to Liam. I don't know if it's just been his confidence that has gotten a massive hit. I don't know whether it's something else, but Liam needs to sort it out quickly. I don't know what he needs to do, but he needs to sort it out quickly. And I really hope he does, because I want to see Liam do good, and I'm actually a fan of Liam Lawson. Let's see what happens for the rest of the season. But that's been me, Japanese Grand Prix race review. And I'll see you guys for some IMSA in the following video, like this. And then the Bahrain Grand Prix. I love you guys. I'll see you guys. Whatever piece of content comes next. Like, subscribe. You know the deal. Check out the links in the description. And I'll see you guys for a new piece of content soon. Cheers!